Hey friends, well, we are making the main move to the Kentucky farm right now. So I am in a caravan with half the goats in front of me and half the goats behind me. We've also got almost all the chickens and a box truck full of mostly farm equipment. And then we've got just 3 vehicles packed with stuff. We packed it pretty much all in 2 days with the help of 3 amazing friends that took time out of their busy schedules to help us out. So our plan for packing and getting off the farm went pretty well, despite us pretty much leaving everything to the last minute. And that was kind of out of necessity. Everything was still in use. The farm has to keep on rolling. We still have to house and fence and feed the animals. So a lot of the things couldn't be picked up until the animals were picked up. And we wanted that to be one of the very last things we did. And we ended up loading the animals in the dark. And that was kind of the plan, especially for the welfare of the chickens, because chickens just kind of pass out at night anyway. They don't eat or drink. So we figured that would be the easiest on them. Also, less traffic, less chance of getting caught in a traffic jam, and have the animals sitting in hot sun. And so we loaded up everything. We got all the fences picked up, feeders, waterers, all of that jazz. Got in the trucks after a full day of packing and organizing, starting at 5 a.m. that day, and ending with the roundup of the animals, during which Daryl had to carry quite a few of the goat, and our smallest goat is like 40 pounds. So he got a full workout right before getting in the truck. And we got on the road, I think at around 8 p.m. and everything was going great until about an hour and a half into the trip. We got maybe 100 miles. And our friend Vin, who was driving his truck with one of the trailers, blew a tire on that trailer. So it's a 4-wheel trailer. So he was able to still tow it, but he had to go like 20 miles an hour until we could find a decent place to stop. Ooh, we're going into a tunnel. These goats are seeing things they thought they'd never see. They're actually doing really well. That was fun. So yeah, blowing a tire was not fun. That was not the news that I wanted to get over the phone when we were just starting out. So we found a place to stop, and it was in like a busy city on the outskirts of Raleigh, North Carolina, and there were actually quite a few 24-hour mobile repair services available. We called, I think, 4 or 5 of them, and none of them had the tire that we needed in stock. So after a lot of calling around and searching on the internet and talking to people at the gas station, we finally decided that the best thing to do was just to sleep in our vehicles there with the animals and go to Tractor Supply in the morning, because we knew for sure that they had the tire we needed, which Daryl ended up getting 2 of, just in case. But it was super cold that night, and sleeping in the car was never fun. And there was a bunch of activity because it was big, like, truck stop. So big semis were pulling in and people were coming over to look at the goats. So none of us got much sleep. We rested, but none of us got much sleep after a very stressful and strenuous day. So this morning, Daryl had to go get the tire, figure out how to get the tire on, which was not easy to jack up a trailer with about 4,000 pounds worth of goat in it to get the new tire back on. But they figured it out. These boys are very resourceful. And we got back on the road. So far today, it has gone pretty well. And we are currently going through the mountains of North Carolina. We are almost to Tennessee. And it is just beautiful. We're also on that section of I-40 that was damaged during Hurricane Helene a little over a year ago. So there's a lot of areas like this where we get stopped in traffic, where it's 2 lanes where it used to be 6 lanes, and there's still a lot of road work going on. As you can see, the goats are doing pretty well. We're feeding them a bale of hay at every stop, trying to get them to drink water, but goats don't actually drink a ton of water. Nobody has seemed too stressed or anything, but I would just like to get them there and safe. So Daryl was able to go up to the property a couple weeks ago and get a lot of the things ready. There's a lot more cleanup, unfortunately, than he was expecting to have to do, but there were also some basic things like getting the water and power in his name that just he had to do in person anyway. So he was able to like clean out the barn, put some temporary fences up for the goats so there is an area ready when we get there. So we'll just have to unload them and fill up their water, and they should be fine for the evening. And then the chickens, because we're getting into some colder weather, especially cold nights, I'm actually going to put them in our high tunnel for the winter, which saved us having to figure out a way to bring one of our large chicken coops with us. So we may or may not bring those at a later date, but for the next about 4 months, the chickens are going to be set up in the high tunnel, which is great because it's totally overgrown. So they're going to help beat down the weeds and the leftover tomato plants that are lingering in there, and they're going to fertilize it all. So, and then they're going to prep it for me for when I want to plant it in the spring. And we did bring their nest boxes, so we're just going to set those up on a platform for them. That should work out great. It should keep them warm at night, and of course we'll let them out during the day, and that high tunnel is right in the garden area, so they'll have access to all of that, so they can start scratching around and working on the whole garden area. We did leave behind our pigs, our ducks and geese, and a couple of the old chickens that we call the yard birds. They're semi-retired. They just kind of hang out in free range with the ducks. We have a friend looking after them. All of that is super easy. It's like make sure they have water and throw them food every day. Then we also did leave the sheep. I've been trying to sell more and more of the sheep. It's been difficult for me because part of me really doesn't want to get rid of the sheep. I'm down to sort of my sentimental favorites, and I would not be sad at all if they had to come to the new farm. But also it's not super practical because the new farm is a 10-hour drive away. And on this move, once I'm there because my goats are there. Also, my doggie. We brought all 3 of the Catahoulas on this trip. I was lucky enough to get Maple as my co-pilot. She is the best car dog. This is what she does. She just curls up on her blankie and sleeps. And then when we stop, she's a perfect little lady and goes for a walk and does her business. And then she goes back to sleep. She's the best. So Daryl has the fun job of riding with Cypress and Juniper, who are a little more high-strung, especially Cypress. He gets very anxious about change, and he doesn't go in the car very often, and he's very reactive to new sights and sounds. So every time we stop, all the people walking around and trucks, and gets him very riled up. Daryl's having to kind of manage his stress a little bit. And he's perfectly fine when you're cruising. If you're going like 55 or above, he figures it's gonna be a while and he just settles in and takes a nap. But as soon as you slow down or stop, he's like, what's going on? Are we stopping? Are we getting out of the truck? That's been fun for him to deal with. He's also a handful when you get him out of the truck because he's just a big, strong dog that's not on a leash very often. But all in all, they've done great. But we do still have, I think, about 4 hours left of this drive, which isn't bad, but we're gonna be going on like 24 hours with these animals in the trailers or crates, which is not great. And we are all very, very tired, humans and animals alike. It's just how it goes. We knew this wasn't gonna be an easy thing. It would have been nice if it had gone a little more smoothly, but just grateful that we are all safe and sound at this point and well on our way. Starting to really look forward to actually seeing my new farm and house. I have not seen the place in person. Of course, I've seen lots of pictures and Daryl describing it to me because he's been there twice now. But yeah, don't even know what it's gonna be like to live in a house again. It's just, I literally cannot wrap my mind around it right now. So it feels like a big fantasy that's never gonna happen still. But I think it might just be 4 hours away. Sorry, I didn't film anything yesterday. It was just too hectic. I had way too much to do, and we barely got it done in the time that we had planned. I actually can't believe how well we did. The 3 friends that Daryl persuaded to come help us, fortunately, are also like professional con volunteers, like conventions. Like they're very involved in Dragon Con. That's kind of how they all know each other. And so they know how to pack a truck, they know how to drive a truck, they know how to execute a plan. They were literally like the perfect crew to do this with, and they've been so cool through the whole thing, just not stressed out, working through problems as a team, keeping in good spirits. They are what have made this trip possible. Daryl and I would have done it ourselves, but not nearly as efficiently as we did with the guys. So very grateful to Vin, Caesar, and Vinny for coming out. Love you guys. And as we weave through the mountains, I am reminded why I fell in love with North Carolina in the first place. It is an absolutely gorgeous state, and we are hitting all the fall colors right now. And I haven't seen these mountains in so long. They're just incredible. Looks like I am saying goodbye for a while. I don't know when I'll be back. I certainly do plan to come back and visit all the wonderful friends that I have made during my 10.5 years there. But Kentucky is my new home. Definitely a little sad. There's a great little farming community there that I will genuinely miss, but I will miss my land the most. I love that property. I wish I could have done more for it, but it will be on the market soon. If anybody is interested in a little 14-acre plot in southeast North Carolina, it is a great piece of land. And I will be sure to share the listing once we get it on the market. It'll probably be close to a month before that happens. It's just a lot of cleanup to do, and we're really focused on just getting things moved at this point. Well, we've made it to the outskirts of Knoxville, Tennessee, and we just had to stop. That's right, guys. The goats are going to Buc-ee's. I've been to knockoff Buc-ee's before, but I've never been to the real thing. So this will be fun. What do you think, Maple? Okay.
Hey, we're here. We're here at Buc-ee's. Stop. We're at Buc-ee's.
Hi, Bubba.
I know.
So I'm currently taking Juniper for a little walk. She's being a good girl. Daryl has to handle the big boy because he will drag me if he wants to. We had to get pinch collars just for this trip for safety because of these knuckleheads. And what happened when we were pulling up, Daryl?
Oh, they seen the Buc-ee Beaver sign and lost their mind. I had to use their beep collar while I'm trying to pull into Buc-ee's through a traffic circle. These two are losing it.
They don't like the beaver.
Maybe they do like the beaver. They don't know. They've never been here.
He's calmed down. Just had to pee. Yeah. You like that RV? That is nice.
Go, pom-poms.
Yeah, they feel a little better now. All right, Joni.
Go.
So Maple went a little bit overboard on the snacks. She was very excited to try the Buc-ee nuggets. And then, we both like jerky. So we got some sweet, some spicy. Should be a good trip. It is looking like it's gonna be dark when we arrive, so I'm probably not gonna film a whole lot when we get there. Plus, we're just all exhausted, so as soon as we get the animals settled in, I think we're all just gonna crash. But I will check in with you in the morning from my new farm. Well, guys, we made it. That's my new house in the background. And that's my new high tunnel / winter chicken coop. And that's my new greenhouse where I'll be starting seeds. This space back here is gonna be my new apple orchard. What do you think, Bubba? So handsome. Cypress loves it here. So far, I like it. So everyone made it here just fine, but immediately after leaving Buc-ee's, Daryl was sideswiped by another truck. Had a little bit of damage to his, mostly cosmetic. Luckily, the guy was cool. Nobody was hurt. His damage was very minimal, and we all agreed to just exchange information and get on our way because I could not handle those goats being stuck in that trailer any longer. Ended up being 25 hours on the road. We estimated 12. So because the trip took twice as long, that really cut into the time that we had here with our helpers, with the 3 guys. So we really had to just kind of bust our butts the next day and get that U-Haul unloaded and returned. And then they helped with some basic projects around the farm, like hanging the front gate and things like that. And then Daryl was able to stay a couple more days, but he had to get back. He didn't end up being able to make the second trip. He's going to do that here shortly with the pigs and the geese. And then I think the ducks and the remaining chickens are going to have to wait for the next load, mainly because they are hard to catch because they are basically wild. That's fine. It's going to take a lot of trips just to get all our stuff here. The next trip will be Daryl with the pigs and geese and some more stuff. The trip after that, he'll be getting a big flatbed trailer and bringing the tractor and some of the bigger items out, maybe a chicken coop. So this is the property. I've got this fence up here so I could let the goats out, and they're up way up there at our cedar post barn. And then just past that, up there past that tree, is our butcher shop. It is a pretty piece of land. It's almost all pasture except for what's down around the house. So I'm looking lovely today. Not a lot of sleep and a lot of stress, but I'm here. I live in Kentucky now, and so do my goats and my chickens. Soon to be the rest of my animals, and then hopefully my husband. When Daryl comes back, he's going to bring the drone. So I think I will hold off doing a full tour of the property until he gets that, and we can get a really good aerial view of everything as well. So that'll probably be the next video. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you continue to follow along on this crazy journey that we have embarked on. All right, see you next time. Thanks, guys.